Welcome back to another video, The Real Ish. If you are new here, we cover all scary horror movie based things, anything that covers that topic. In this video right here, we're going to be talking about the best horror villains ever. I found something on the internet and it says the 25 best horror villains of all time ranked. So they have 25. I'm not going through the whole 25. I'm not going to even mention every single one of them. What I am going to do is pick out some that stand out to me, and I'm going to name them and talk about them briefly. Alright, so let's get into this video. Alright, so some of these are newer villains and some are older villains. I thought it was kind of interesting to mention some of these ones on here. So let's get right into it. So one of the ones mentioned is Mr. Hyde and Dr. Jekyll. Alright, it's Mr. Hyde from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, a film from 1931. Are two heads really better than one? The gentle Dr. Jekyll finds it's definitely not worth it when he succumbs to his own lofty ambitions and the sinister evil within him. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is an exceptional exploration into split personalities. So, you know, if you have never seen Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, that's what that's about. That's that one. I'm not going to go into like very detailed things with these villains. I'm just going to name them and mention where they come from. Alright, another one, I talk about this, I think I talked about this in another video once. Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1974. We're all familiar with Leatherface and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If not, Leatherface is one of the most gruesome looking horror villains of all time because, as his name implies, he wears the skin of his victims' faces as a mask. Catching a glimpse of Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre temporarily paralyzes his victims, much the same way a glance from Medusa will turn someone into stone. Alright, so that's another one, Leatherface. And I mentioned in another video, I'm not like old Texas Chainsaw crazy fan. It's pretty okay, but it's not one of those movies that I can just sit there and want to watch over and over and over. Alright, the next villain on this list is the Jigsaw Killer. Alright, that's a good one. He actually places 21 on this list, just to let you guys know. I feel like he should be a little further up. I'm not sure who else is on here, but the Jigsaw Killer. Fans do not play a game with this man, John Kramer, and played by Tobin Bell. John Kramer is one of the most intelligent and ruthless horror villains in history. In the original Saw, Kramer is trying to teach Dr. Gordon a valuable life lesson when he restrains him and a photographer in a large bathroom with shackles. Yeah, I love Saw and I love the Jigsaw Killer because he's really technically not a killer because he has these people do something to themselves and make decisions, but then again, he is the one that kidnaps them, sets them up, you know, things like that. But I think he's a very clever villain. I do like the Jigsaw Killer. I like the Saw franchise. Alright, here's another one. She's from The Ring. Oh, Samara from The Ring. And if you know The Ring, 7 days just hearing this phrase whispered on the other end of the phone is enough to chill up your spine. It says anyone who watches a cryptic videotape gets the 1 week warning, and the only way to avoid death is if you copy the tape and show it to someone else. Alright, The Ring is a remake of the 1998 film Ringu, I think that's how you say it. And that person in that her name was Sadako Yamurara, I guess that's how you say it. But anyway, from the 2002 version, her name was Samara. So they said that she's one of the horror movie villains. One of my favorite movies I haven't seen in a while, from 1990, Misery. They said Annie Wilkes, she's one of the villains. The embodiment of Stan culture before Stan culture was even a thing. Annie Wilkes, Kathy Bates, may seem on the surface like a humble, over-eager fan, but she shows how fandom can curdle into a dangerous obsession. After popular novelist Paul Sheldon is injured in a car accident, Annie, his self-professed #1 fan, takes him to her home and tends to his wounds. Alright, Misery is a very interesting movie. It's one of Stephen King's. It comes from one of Stephen King's novels. It's really good. I like it, and she is indeed a villain. Alright, All right, some of these on this list, like I said, I'm not gonna read them all. Some of them I don't even feel like I need to talk about. Not really interest me. All right, here's a good one. Carrie White from Carrie 1976. And I really wouldn't say she's a villain, but you know, she's turned into one because people were making fun of her. Carrie White is more times than they pegged as one of the greatest horror villains of all time. But is she truly a monster, or is she the victim? I think the victim, maybe. Being bullied by her peers in the adaptation of Stephen King's novel certainly brings out about Carrie's untimely demise, but it's easy to sympathize with the young girl's plight. So yeah, like, you know, a lot of people are bullied in real life. It doesn't give you the right to go around and do whatever you want to do, but you know, I like Carrie. The movie is really good. It's really good. All right, next, no question, no doubt about it. This one is an easy one right here. Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. We all know Jason Voorhees. Jason Voorhees' evolution began as a moss-covered boy who leaped out into Crystal Lake in Friday the 13th from 1980. But yeah, we all know how bad Jason is. So he's definitely one of those, like, great horror villains. Another one of my favorites, we have Pennywise. It says from 1990, and then it says 2017 and 2019. I'm going to ignore the 2017 to 2019 just for the fact that I do not like that updated version of it. Okay, so we're going to focus on Pennywise, the actual scary clown from 1990. It says this guy might be single-handedly responsible for generations of people having an irrational fear of clowns. I am one of those people. I used to love to watch it. My grandma had it on VHS, but I was terrified of clowns after that, maybe before, but I still watched it anyway. It says you cannot deny the impact of the sewer-dwelling Pennywise and his various iterations in Stephen King's original book, the 1990 miniseries, and the two-part blockbuster films of the late 2010s. I enjoyed the first one. And what I love about Pennywise from 1991 is, like, he's not really a clown. He's like some other type of entity in general that's really scary because you just don't know what he is. Another one that's just obviously one of the greatest villains of all time, Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street. We already know about Freddy 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. That itself is just very creepy. The Dream Stalker Freddy Krueger is the most unique of all slasher villains and the most dangerous because he can invade his victims' dreams. And if Krueger kills someone in the dream world, they will die in real life. That is ultimately a bad boy, and that's a bad boy that can kill you in your dreams and in real life. Moving on to Ghostface from the Scream franchise. I enjoyed Scream back in the day, but not so much as they keep making them over and over. Like let it go. It says Ghostface offs their victims by using the rules of horror films against them. So jumping into the next one, another favorite is Candyman. We all love Candyman. Do not say his name over and over. That's how you summon him. It says one of Candyman's most intense scenes was when he was stung 23 times by the swarm of real bees used in the movie. Wow. Yeah, Tony Todd was stung. I remember reading that. And the haunting imagery of those bees flying out of Candyman's mouth, filmed for real with no special effects, remains ingrained in horror fans' imaginations to this day. Yeah, Candyman he's nothing to play with either. Alright, they got Michael Myers on here, of course. It says the guy's ruthless. He killed his own sister when he was a kid. And all that to me doesn't make sense right now as to why he still does what he does and still looking for his, I don't know. But yeah, I ain't spending too much time on that. We all know Michael Myers. Yeah, he was good back then, whatever. Alright, it says Norman Bates from Psycho, 1960. Nah. I don't know how Norman Bates would get above like some of the other villains, but not my list. They have a few other ones on here, but I'm just gonna read this one. This one's gonna be the last one that I talk about. Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs. With no way of stopping the real murderer known as Buffalo Bill, Special Agent Clarice Starling, Jodie Foster is forced to join forces with the brilliant but dangerous Dr. Hannibal Lecter in order to catch the savage killer. But anyway, it says, however, the cannibal Hannibal Lecter, who ranks as one of the best horror villains of all time. Okay, so I don't know how this one got left off this list. Like I said, it was plenty of other lists. I just clicked on one. We cannot forget Chucky. Obviously, he is one of the greatest horror movie villains, and he was nowhere on this particular list, so I added him myself. And like I stated before, I might do this video again, possibly a part 2, to find more villains that they have on these lists. Yeah, I just wanted to make that quick video and cover some of those. It's obviously a very iffy list. I forgot what site. If I find it, I'll put it up here somewhere. But yeah, it said the top 25. I didn't go through all of them. I just mentioned some that, you know, that I wanted to shed light on. You know, it's probably better lists out there. And I may do an updated part to this, you know, when I come across another list. I just wanted to talk about some of the villains of scary movies. And yeah, so who do you think is the best horror villain of all time, like ever? Let me know. Like this video, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you guys for another video. Thanks for watching. God bless.